Our colleague Sylvia Herzl, professor, could not be here today, but we wanted to give also a little signal that there is a great initiative by ULB and VUB called BRIAS, the Brussels Institute of Advanced Studies. You have Institute of Advanced Studies in quite a lot of universities now, but this is a program where an interdisciplinary and inter-university team chooses a theme, and for an extended period of time will do quite a lot of work hosting people. Is it possible to go to the next slide? So you see here the type of very appealing program that they will have. International visiting fellow programs where people from all around the world will come for up to a month. There will be also big ideas, lectures, keynotes regularly, and also weekly seminars more focusing on research where people can also exchange. The goal of the Institute of Advanced Studies, of which we were several part of, is really to push new ideas and to try to find new ideas. So I invite you up to this. To visit brias.be and to see the program and all the different activities that they will organize. This is a wonderful initiative, and thank you for your attention. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Karen Bourse for the final words to also show you a bit of what's coming ahead for FARI.
Thank you, Carl, and I'm very much aware that I'm the last one standing between you and your drinks, so we'll keep the pace high. But indeed, I hope that by now you've picked up quite a lot about why we are here today, all gathered together, but also why we are here with the FARI team and doing what we do. But we just want to make sure that there's a few key takeaways that you take home with you from this experience. First of all, as you may have understood by now, FARI is an inter-university institute bringing together researchers from both the Vrije Universiteit Brussel and Université Libre de Bruxelles around AI, data and robotics, really with this purpose, as Hugues so clearly described, of bringing more value to citizens, to our society, and bridging the gap that often is there between academia today and us in society out there. We try to do that around a number of themes that we really care about and that I will going into a little bit deeper in just a minute. As you noticed also, these groups gathered here are all represented here today. So these are the 10 research groups that consist of FARI. If there's any area of expertise that you would like to explore, please ask around either to the people with the blue lanyards, that's the staff, or at the FARI booth. We're happy to connect you. That's what we're here to do. But it's not just about the research groups, because they too need support, they need infrastructure to be able to do a proper job, and infrastructure needs to be mutualized. We need to put it at the disposal of all these researchers, around 300 in total, but also at the disposal of all of our partners, many of which are represented here, and at the disposal of citizens who want to contribute to the testing, to the experimentation, and to the design of these new solutions. And so we started out by building, as Hugues already mentioned, a test and experience center where we have demonstrations of tangible results coming out of this research to help inspire people into what can this technology bring, how can it bring value to you, and play around with this technology to make it more day-to-day. But we've gone beyond that since then, and we added a computer-augmented virtual environment, a really big immersive space where you can visualize really complex data sets and again start playing around with them, start doing simulations and testing scenarios and figuring out if the things that you have in mind make sense, yes or no. And not just by yourself, but also with a group of up to 25, 30, 35 people where you can interact with your data and really find the most value-adding ways forward together. And this is quite unique, actually. We have a lot of visitors coming in to explore how their data sets could potentially be visualized in such an environment and how you can make them really actionable in that way. And the idea is not to stop there, of course, and the team has been building a digital twin, first of all, of the Brussels capital region, but you can build a digital twin, which is basically a digital copy of any type of environment or data set to, again, test around. So we've built this huge digital twin of the Brussels capital region already, and we see that by showing that to people, again, it can inspire as to how you can make these data sets actionable, how you can connect them together and layer them one on top of the other, and really, create value that goes well beyond 1 + 1 is 2. It's not just 1 + 1 is 3, it's 1 + 1 is 10, basically, is what we see coming out whenever we put use cases in place in this type of environment. So this will help us to work with our local stakeholders to understand all the data that you're actually sitting on, often there can be so much more insights coming out of those if we start combining those data sets across the different partners that we work with. And it's not just about digitalizing in this digital twin concept, it's also about how to manage that properly, that data exchange between the partners. We see that a lot of support is required and is essential if we really want to work with all the organizations, public as well as private, to see how they can plug in their data sets while keeping full ownership, while doing this in a secure way, doing this in a completely GDPR compliant way, but still making sure that all of us can have access to the data that we should actually co-own as citizens, and how we can, again, derive value from there. So that's definitely something that we're going to start exploring much more actively, that we're going to support, and where we're putting as much as possible kind of this open sharing, open knowledge perspective into place. And we see already that some partners connected through FARI are now doing research together, are building solutions together, and that's wonderful to see. So an open call to anyone, who's sitting on large sets of data to explore with us how this can be useful and how you can benefit from the data space that we are building already. And we're going to go beyond that, because as we've been exploring today, of course, it's not just about AI and data. There is this component of physical devices as well, of robotics. And so the next step for us will be, thanks to another regional grant that we recently obtained, is to build a library of physical robots where indeed organizations, locally companies as well as public administrations, as well as citizens and civil organizations can really experiment with these devices. You don't have to buy like a robot that costs half of my arm. You can really, we can mutualize again those types of assets to make sure that anybody and everybody can really benefit from experimenting with that type of infrastructure. And again, that's really the core mission of FARI, is to make sure that we can all benefit much more from what is already here and what we can mutualize together. But it's also, again, not just about research capability and about infrastructure. We've been hearing throughout the day that we really need to involve citizens much more in this type of reflection. And that requires specific methodologies and a specific approach and expertise that is not typically around even in universities. And so we have this team that is specializing in how to do that, how to build that citizen engagement, and specializes especially in bridging AI and democracy, and really reflecting on the impact that AI is going to have on democracy, and how we can also use it as an enabler and not just see it as a risk, but also how to safeguard that inclusion that we've been seeing, this diversity that is so essential, and where we really have to safeguard that everybody benefits equally and everybody can contribute equally to the future solutions. So there's also a team out there, if you want to know more about that, that can engage with, to understand better how we could work together to make sure that citizens do have a voice from the design table up to the testing of the final solutions. And they too have been working quite hard over the past year, and a sneak preview of what's coming up. They will be presenting a number of AI use cases related to the social economy early next year, as well as some results from an Erasmus Plus project, Algolit, where they have been looking into algorithm transparency. And so very interesting results that will be coming out very shortly, so make sure to connect to the team if that is something that you're interested in. So what do we do, with all of that brain power, as well as infrastructure, as well as methodologies that we've been compiling over the past few years? Obviously, being a research institute, there's a lot of research going on that you've already seen some of the highlights of, and definitely also can explore much more out there in talking to the researchers and having a look at the booth. But we also found out quickly that to be able to do proper research, we have to be able to work with partners who have a proper understanding of what AI is, what it's capable of, and what it's not capable of. And we can't only do that through events. And so we've been building quite a lot of trainings and services to also help our partners better understand the opportunities and the challenges that come with it, and how they can deal with those, and how we can scope together and prepare together the right environment, the right context for research and innovations to take place. That's been quite an interesting ride as well. And what we also saw from both the research projects going on and the trainings that we were doing is that actually the exchange between the people in such a group, between participants or between research partners, is at least as important as the knowledge transfer that is taking place, let's put it that way, or the discussion from an expert to a lesser expert. Actually the peer-to-peer conversation, exchange of use cases, understanding indeed why sometimes situations in Riga are similar to those in Montreal, Montreal and those in Brussels, that is as important. And those connections also remain and that conversation keeps going. So that's something that we really try to support very, very actively through events such as this one, but many others as well. Let's go back first of all to the research. We have been deciding to kind of focus a bit more because for the common good that's still quite broad, right? And we've been challenged quite a lot these past few years as to, okay, but what is it exactly that you work on then? And what is it that you excel in with your research community? So we've worked quite a lot with our academic directors to define 5 areas of expertise where we really think we can make a dent in the earth, we can make a difference, and we have the right partnerships already in place to make that happen. And the idea is that around those 5 flagship programs, as we call them, we're now going to start designing 3 to 5 year roadmaps with partners to really identify what is it that we want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years. Where do we want to make the difference? Where do we want to be? What do we need and who do we need to get there? And then build basically on that roadmap together. So really co-finance and contribute together to either research activities, but also educational activities or stakeholder engagement activities such as this one around each of these themes. So if you're interested in any of those topics and you're looking for partnerships, you're warmly invited to have a conversation about how we can start building those roadmaps together. And rather than doing ad hoc research project per project, we really want to kind of design these 5 big funnels towards the societal impact that Hugues has been challenging us to achieve. As I mentioned, training and services have been put in place as well. We started out on the kind of AI literacy side of things to really bring more understanding of what AI is and what it's not, to inspire people into what could be potential use cases for them. We see many of our partners now moving with us through that AI journey, more to the right-hand side of more complex matters where we can really support their prototyping of solutions that don't have a market-ready solution available right now, or where we can do really like applied use cases together. So this is a journey that we really want to continue to support. Sometimes we work with very technical organizations that want to have like more ethical or more legal perspectives to challenge basically the use cases they have in mind and to help them to develop them in a responsible way. Sometimes we work with civic organizations that have wonderful ideas about how to deal with the bias, but don't have the technical expertise to actually build a prototype and test it with citizens, for example. So we really try to pick and choose from research capabilities that we have exactly what is lacking and complement our partners' expertise to make it happen in reality. And so another sneak preview, we are launching with the data tank a completely new training program early 2026 that's called the Data Stewardship Bootcamp. So if data stewardship and how to do that in a responsible, in a smart way, how to handle those data sets and how to unlock the potential of those data sets, but in a safe and trustworthy way, that's going to be the focal point of that 1-week bootcamp. So make sure to either use the QR code right now or come and ask us at the booth. That's going to be an interesting ride as well. And so as I mentioned, a conversation that matters is not just about a one-time or one annual conference. It's really about having a regular exchange and a regular conversation, and that can go from like monthly happy hours that we do on a range of topics where basically anybody can register and come and talk to us, up to very, very expert workshops and international conferences that we participate to or that we host. And so another sneak preview is that we will be hosting 2 international conferences next year, the Network Learning Conference in May and the HHAI Conference early July, if I'm not mistaken. So we're also really seeing that Brussels is becoming an attractive place for these types of traveling conferences to visit and to connect really to all those local stakeholders. So that is also something that we want to continue to develop, to really bring international research communities to Brussels to be able to continue that exchange even at a higher pace. And so we've been developing definitely that local footprint that we've were challenged to at the onset of FARI, but we've also been working very, very closely with the different EU instruments that are available and with the different departments of the European Commission to understand how our expertise can also contribute to the European ecosystem. And so all of the colored places are where we are currently already active in the EU ecosystem that you may could find out much more about tomorrow, actually, because many of you will know that we have a partner day following this conference where we have smaller but very focused events taking place in parallel at our campus Decentral in the building of the Brussels Central Station. Most of the events are actually already sold out, but some of them still have open spots. So if it's something that you're interested in, again, make sure to explore. But it's important, right, to connect across Europe. We've heard, about the advantages that the US and China have right now. We really need to understand where, to put the emphasis, how to work together and how to make more use of, even if it's not a real digital single market, at least how to make more use of each other's expertise and use cases to move much, much faster than we are doing right now. And we want to contribute to that as well. And to do that, we also want to be part of international communities and networks. We were already a member of the CARE network that was mentioned here before on stage. We are recently, we also joined the Spark Alliance launched by UNESCO to understand how we can really support also knowledge building around AI data and robotics across, for example, public institutions. And was quickly mentioned this morning by Marius, but I want to make kind of a slightly more official point about it too, that indeed after last year's conference, actually with the keynote speaker at the time, Teresa Züger, we decided to really reach out to see if we could find other institutions that have this similar focus on AI for the common good or for the public interest, and see if we could again exchange in a peer-to-peer way to better understand how we can solve the challenges that we come across together and not kind of reinvent the wheel over and over again. And we were glad to find not just a few, but already 9 organizations in total that just decided to join forces under the umbrella of the Public Interest AI Network. It's a global network indeed with members from Canada and the US to South America to Asia and a few in Europe as well. So we really want to understand how we can learn from each other, how we can move faster together and not make the same mistakes over and over again. So yes, a local footprint is absolutely critical for an organization such as FARI, because we have to have a good understanding of the context in which these challenges emerge and where the parts of the solutions may lie. But we have to be aware that indeed learning from each other is as important. So we have to do that in a very connected way. And we try not just to be a follower there, but really to be a leader in that global ecosystem. So that has led us in the past almost 5 years now to running quite a lot of projects. As you've understood, we've been without a regional government for quite some time, so we kind of have to fend for ourselves. So we have been chasing all sorts of EU calls and other ways to fund the activities that we absolutely want to do. And we've been training quite a lot of people already, ranging from keynote speeches and team building activities that go from the local public administration or the SME around the corner up to DG RTD, DG Connect, who have been training with us, and shortly we'll have the Joint Research Center over. So it's really like this broad range of people that come into our Test and Experience Center mostly on a regular basis to gain a better understanding and to exchange. It can be very short courses, but also like a postgraduate fully certified by the university to really become like an AI project leader in the future. So a very broad range. And events, as I mentioned, across 14 countries that we contributed to already, to 339 events. Imagine that in less than 5 years. So our team is really working very hard to spread, the insights that we've already built and to kind of gain new inspiration for future projects and build new partnerships. And as you can imagine, this is not something that you can build with just a few people. So we are very grateful to the full support that we've been getting from both universities, from the academic directors, from the research groups. But definitely, I think I also owe a big thank you to this team who has been growing to 27 people, if I counted right, recently, who are working literally night and day, especially around this type of event, to make this all happen. So I think, yeah, we owe a big round of applause to everybody that contributed to this impact. Thank you. And in just a minute, I would like the team to come closer to the stage because we are going to take our annual team picture here, as we always do when we wrap up. And that does mean that I'm coming to the very, very final closing words of this conference. I want to thank not only all of you for being here and for really connecting and engaging quite a lot also in the Q&A and during the networking drinks so far. And I hope that you will continue to do so over the drinks just after this session. But also to the many partners that make this event happen. And support also the continuation and the growth of FARI. We would not be able to exist without the support of those partners as well. So thank you very much for making that happen. And we hope that indeed through our flagship program collaborations as well as through international networks, we can continue to build partnerships and see many of you again next year. Date to be announced closer to the event, but I'm sure it will not be the last time that we meet on a stage like this. So thank you again. Enjoy the drink, and please staff come over here. Thank you.